Remember that sound? For millions of us, that little melody was the soundtrack to our lives. It was a text from your crush, a call from your parents, and the promise that you could definitely beat your high score on Snake. Nokia wasn't just a phone company, it was a cultural icon. Their phones, like the legendary 3310, were so tough they became a meme with batteries that seemed to last forever. At their peak, they were the undisputed kings, commanding over 40% of the entire global mobile market with a staggering market value of around $250 billion. Of course, we all know what happened next. The iPhone and Android showed up. Nokia stubbornly refused to change, and their partnership with Microsoft turned into a catastrophe that saw their market share collapse. When Microsoft bought Nokia's phone division for $7.2 billion in 2014, it felt like the final nail in the coffin. A year later, Microsoft wrote off almost the entire value of that deal as a total loss. It looked like the story was over. The king was dead, destined to become a museum piece, a nostalgic relic of a world before smartphones took over. But what if that story isn't finished? What if I told you that, right now, in 2025, Nokia is secretly winning the phone game in ways you can't even see? The company you thought vanished didn't just survive. It transformed into something more powerful and essential than it ever was before. So, forget what you think you know about Nokia. Stick around, because we're about to break down the 5 surprising ways Nokia is still a dominant force in the world of mobile technology. The first and most obvious way Nokia is still winning is by embracing the one thing everyone remembers: building phones that just refuse to die. While today's biggest brands are locked in an arms race of fragile glass backs and folding screens, the Nokia brand, now licensed by the Finnish company HMD Global, has gone all in on durability. They've carved out a huge space in markets that value resilience over everything else. And I'm not just talking about cheap plastic phones. I'm talking about modern, high-tech, rugged smartphones built for the toughest environments on the planet. Take the Nokia XR21. This thing is MIL STD 810H certified, which is a military-grade standard that means it can survive brutal drops, extreme temperatures, dust, and water. Yet, it's not some clunky brick from 2005. It has modern features like a slick 120Hz display and a capable Snapdragon processor. It proves that being tough doesn't mean being technologically backward. And let's not forget about the digital detox movement. In a world of constant notification anxiety and doom scrolling, a lot of people are looking for an escape. HMD and Nokia have brilliantly tapped into this by reviving classic, beloved designs like the Nokia 2720 Flip. These feature phones give you the basics: calls, texts, and a battery that lasts for weeks, offering a break from the noise. The demand is so real that these retro devices have become a quiet success story, proving that sometimes winning is about knowing what to leave out. By serving everyone from construction workers and outdoor adventurers to digital minimalists, Nokia has turned its old-school reputation for toughness into a thriving, modern business. Nokia's second surprise victory is happening in the pockets of millions of people in the world's fastest-growing economies. They might not be fighting for the $1,000-plus flagship crown in the US or Europe, but Nokia-branded smartphones are champions of the budget and mid-range markets, especially across Southeast Asia, Africa, and India. The strategy is beautifully simple: make reliable, well-built phones with solid specs at a price regular people can actually afford. Models like the Nokia G65G and the G400 offer features like 5G and impressive 50-megapixel cameras for a fraction of what a premium phone costs. In places where price matters and people trust brands that last, the Nokia name still carries incredible weight. People in these regions remember their first Nokia, the one that worked for years without a single issue, and that legacy of reliability still drives sales today. But here's their secret weapon: the one thing that sets them apart from the sea of other budget Android phones: clean, stock software. While competitors cram their phones with clunky interfaces, duplicate apps, and ad-filled bloatware that just slows everything down, Nokia built its reputation on a pure Android experience. This means their phones often feel faster, are more intuitive, and are more secure. For years, Nokia was praised as one of the fastest and most consistent brands for delivering Android updates. That might sound like a minor detail, but for the person using the phone, it's a game changer. It means your affordable phone doesn't feel cheap. It runs smoothly and is protected from security threats. This commitment to a better software experience has built a fiercely loyal user base that cares more about long-term value than flashy specs they don't need. By focusing on this huge, underserved market and delivering a superior experience, Nokia has quietly locked down a massive and sustainable role in the global smartphone game. Okay, now it's time for a pivot. Because the next 3 ways Nokia is winning have almost nothing to do with the phone in your hand, and everything to do with the invisible network that makes it work. This is where the story gets really interesting because this is about the real Nokia, the Finnish technology corporation, not just the brand name licensed to HMD. What if I told you that every time you make a 5G call, stream a video, or play an online game, no matter if you're on an iPhone, a Samsung, or a Pixel, there's a very good chance you're using Nokia's technology. That's because Nokia has reinvented itself as one of the most critical B2B telecommunications companies on Earth. They are one of the giants, alongside Ericsson and Huawei, that builds the actual hardware and software running the world's 5G networks. Those cell towers you see on the highway, the complex gear inside them that connects your phone to the internet, a huge chunk of that is designed, built, and maintained by Nokia. Their customers aren't you and me. They're the biggest carriers in the world, companies like AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. For example, they've been deploying their advanced AirScale equipment to help operators like VNPT in Vietnam enhance nationwide connectivity. This is a multi-billion-dollar business, and Nokia is right at the center of it. You can see it in their financials. In their Q2 2025 report, while overall sales saw a slight 1% dip, their crucial network infrastructure division grew by a healthy 8%. Investors see where the real power lies, and Nokia isn't stopping there. They're a leader in providing the optical and IP networking that forms the backbone of the AI and cloud data centers we all now depend on. As Nokia's CEO put it, the AI boom is driving huge demand for advanced, trusted connectivity, and Nokia is perfectly positioned to deliver it. So while we were mourning a dead phone company, they were busy building the infrastructure for the next generation of technology. If building the world's 5G networks wasn't enough, this next one is perhaps the most brilliant, almost secretive way Nokia is winning. They've turned their history of innovation into a massive money-making machine. Nokia is a patent powerhouse, and their business model is so effective that nearly every other major smartphone company on the planet has to pay them. Here's how it works. Over the decades, Nokia has invested a mind-boggling amount in research and development, well over 140 billion euros since the year 2000 alone. That R&D didn't just vanish when their phones lost market share. It resulted in one of the strongest and most valuable patent portfolios in the entire industry. As of 2025, Nokia holds around 20,000 patent families. Many of these aren't just for minor features. They're standard essential patents, or SEPs. This means the technology they cover is so fundamental, it's literally impossible to build a device that complies with industry standards like 5G without using Nokia's inventions. They hold more than 6,000 patent families that have been declared essential to 5G technology. Think about that for a second. Any company that wants to build and sell a 5G device, whether it's a phone, a car, or a smart thermostat, has to get a license from Nokia and pay them royalties. Nokia Technologies, the division that handles all this, is a pure profit engine, reporting a strong 11% gain in their Q3 2025 earnings. They don't have to build anything, ship anything, or market anything. They just invent, patent, and collect checks from their competitors. It's a masterful checkmate in the phone game, profiting from basically every phone sold, no matter whose logo is on the box. And with their deep research into what comes next, they're already in a prime position for the 6G revolution. This invisible empire of intellectual property ensures that no matter who wins the next smartphone war, Nokia gets a cut. This brings us to the final and maybe the most profound way Nokia is winning. They have completely changed the definition of winning the phone game. For years, we measured success with one simple question. Who sold the most premium smartphones? By that old metric, Nokia lost. But in 2025, that metric is obsolete. Winning is no longer just about having the top-selling device. It's about being an indispensable part of the entire mobile ecosystem. And by that new definition, Nokia is one of the biggest winners there is. Look at the relationship with HMD Global. HMD, a totally separate company, pays Nokia for the right to use its iconic brand name on phones. Imagine how powerful a brand has to be for another company to decide it's more valuable to license your name than to build their own from scratch. Even as HMD introduces its own branded devices, they've confirmed they will keep making Nokia phones because they know how much that name still means to people. That proves the brand itself is an asset that generates revenue, built on a legacy of trust that you just can't buy. So let's put it all together. Nokia is playing three-dimensional chess while everyone else is playing checkers. They win when someone in a developing country buys an affordable Nokia G-series phone. They win when a construction company in Europe buys a fleet of unbreakable Nokia XR21 rugged phones. But they also win when you buy the latest iPhone, because Apple licenses Nokia's 5G patents. And they win again when that iPhone connects to a 5G network in Vietnam that was built with Nokia's equipment. Nokia's victory isn't a comeback story. They didn't reclaim the throne. Instead, they built the castle, the roads leading to it, and now they charge a toll to everyone who enters. They went from being a consumer-facing product company to being a core utility of our modern world. They are less visible but more essential than ever. So, is Nokia still winning the phone game? Absolutely. They just aren't playing the same game as everyone else. They found victory not by taking back an old crown, but by forging a new one from the fires of reinvention. They dominate the niche of indestructible phones, they champion budget-conscious users with a better experience, they are the invisible backbone of our 5G world, and they hold the patent keys to the entire industry. The story of Nokia in 2025 isn't about a fallen king. It's a masterclass in how to adapt and evolve. It's the story of a hidden empire that powers the connectivity we all take for granted, proving that a brand is so much more than just market share. It's about legacy, trust, and the will to transform. Now, I want to hear from you. What was your first Nokia phone? Do you still have one of those indestructible bricks lying in a drawer somewhere? Let me know your favorite Nokia stories and memories down in the comments. And if this video surprised you and gave you a new perspective on a brand you thought you knew, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the secret stories of tech. Thanks for watching.